Hey, 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 financial besties. How you doing? How you been? How you doing? How you been? Leave me some money babies in the chat. Comment in the chat to let me know how you feeling. How you feeling? I missed y'all. Hey, hey. And shout out to my channel members, my besties, and my VIP. I see you in the comments. I see you in the comments on all of my videos. And I just want you to know I appreciate you so, so much. I hope you got that freebie I dropped on the channel members community page. Hope you got that freebie. I'll see you there if you did. But tonight, I want to talk about a topic that came to my mind because of a question that a financial bestie asked me. So I don't know if y'all know, but I be hanging around on IG, just cutting a fool, just chatting, sharing my random thoughts, just wasting time in my IG stories. I'm in my IG stories every day. So if y'all don't follow me on IG, I'm Money Coach Malika over there too. I do a little bit of business stuff. Sometimes I talk about money and investing, but a whole lot of times I just be cutting up. But on IG in my stories, I did a ask me anything uh question box in my stories. And y'all are funny. Y'all are funny. Asking me about my dating life. I said ask me anything about money, investing, travel. Somebody was all up in the inbox talking about are you dating? And one of y'all tried to come for me too. I see you. But I won't highlight the negativity. One of the questions that a financial bestie asked me was, what did she ask? Oh, she asked if I had to start over, what would I do? And she identified herself as a single mom, and she knew I was a single mom too. So I don't know how long she's been following me or how much she knows about my story. But she asked if I had to start over, what would I do? And all the other questions that people were asking me, I was able to just respond right off the rip. But her question, it just gave me pause and I needed some time to think about it. And I promised her that I would do a video. So that is what inspired tonight's conversation. Uh, and when I think about her question, if I had to start over, what would I do? It made me think about all of us in community together, whether it's here on YouTube or over on Instagram. We're all over 40, or most of us, the vast majority of us are over 40. And at our age, I think many women find themselves starting over. Would you agree? I think many women find themselves starting over and entering what I call the act two of our lives, right? Either uh, we've been divorced, either we've experienced a layoff, or we've become empty nesters. The children are adults, they're grown, we're going through a major lifestyle change of some sort. And because of this, I think rebuilding your finances or just the way we reimagine our finances, it's a great topic for us to discuss. Would you agree? Yes, yes. With respect for time, I do want to talk about rebuilding from zero to 100K. You probably noticed that on the thumbnail. And the reason why I want to choose that time frame is because the first 100K is actually the hardest. But if your portfolio is beyond that amount already, I see you, sis. Kudos to you. But this video will still be helpful for you too, because all you need to do is add another zero. Because the things I'm going to share, the concept is still relatively the same. So we're going to talk about 0 to 100K. But if you're already there, you're already at 200K, 300K, 400K, 500K, just add another zero and still hang with us tonight. All right. But have you ever had to start over from zero? What would you do if you had to start over from zero, if you haven't experienced that yet. And if you have experienced it, if you feel comfortable sharing, could you let us know in the comments what was the hardest part of starting over and any lessons learned you would like to share? I really look forward to hearing your thoughts or reading, I should say, reading your thoughts and your experience on starting over too. I'm going to share mine, but I would also love some input from you all as well. Okay. But before we get into it, y'all know I got to say hey to my besties. Y'all know I got to say hey to everyone. Let's see who's in the house with me tonight. Who's in the house? If you are joining me live, drop some money babies in the chat. Drop some money babies in the chat. Channel members, use your custom emojis, your custom money babies, and hit that like button, by the way. I think tonight's topic is going to be good. So I'm going to go ahead and ask you in advance. Go and hit that like button. And if you're watching the replay, hey, financial besties from the future, comment replay gang and hit that like button too, so I'll know you were here. Y'all know I appreciate all of you. Oh, and if you're new to me, hey girl, hey, my name is Malika and I'm a money coach. I guess that's what you can call me, a financial educator, but I'm also the founder of I can't even get my business name right. I'm also the founder, it's a whole bunch of F's, that's why. But I'm also the founder of Fabulous Financials. I help Black women learn how to invest in the stock market so you can retire early without worrying about money. So if that sounds like your vibe, go and subscribe to my channel, sis. Subscribe to my channel. And the reason why I'm asking you to subscribe is because I noticed my analytics showed me that only half of my viewers are subscribed. Now, that's kind of a good thing because that tells me that my videos are reaching more people than what's subscribed to me. But if you watch and you enjoy the video, and especially if you want to come back and see more, go and subscribe so you'll be notified when I upload a new video. I appreciate you. Come on over and join my tribe of financial besties. Welcome, new friend. Now let me say, hey, hey, hey to my besties in the house. Look at Eileen. I love it when you drop the money, babies. I love it when you drop the money, babies. I'm going to come over to YouTube after I get off this live stream so I can actually see the emoji. Kimmy Apple, hey, financial bestie, channel member. I see you, sis. I see you. Any other channel members with us yet? Okay. I don't see any more members yet, but I know you're coming because I see you in the comments. And if not, if I see you on the replay, comment replay gang. Hey, girl, hey. Appreciate you. I appreciate you so much. Let's see who else is with us. Hey, Sashana. She said it's been a minute. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Dr. Donna, good to see you again. Hello, hello. Jacqueline Hamilton, hello, hello. Alona Ignacio, I hope I said your name correctly. Hello, hello. Daisy Naples, good evening. How are you? Let's see. Miss Greta King. What's up, Miss Greta King? I don't know why I like saying your name. Hello, hello. And Venus Kirby. Hey, girl, hey. How you doing? How you been? Tanya Brooks. What's up, girl? Hey, Tanya. Think I said hello to everyone. Oh, oops. Y'all in here tonight. Janice Brown. Hey. How you doing? How you been? Maya Spikes writes. Hey, girl, hey. Let's see, Dominique Tremel. Hey, Dominique, good to see you. And Elle, it's always good to see you too. Always good to see all of you. I love to see your repeat names that I'm familiar with. But yes, let's get into the topic. Oh, wait, before I get into it, quick reminder. Let me look at my notes. Make sure I don't forget anything. Yes, a quick reminder. The Road to 100K Investing Challenge. It begins on June 10th. So we are a little over 2 weeks away. So if you're not familiar, the Investing Challenge is a 3-day challenge where I'm going to teach beginners how to navigate the stock market. And if you're not a beginner, you already are investing in the market, but you're not very confident about how to navigate the market, or you're not very confident about what you've done with your portfolio, I'm also going to teach you how to establish an investing strategy and build your portfolio. And the most important part, manage risk so your money works for you. I have decided I'm going to open a new brokerage account so that I can demo everything that I teach you in real time. I'm going to be doing it in my own account. And just recently, as of like 2 days ago, I decided to add bonus content because one of my favorite stocks has been showing out. And that stock has grown almost 3,000% in 5 years. I'm going to say that one more time. 3,000, almost 3,000% in 5 years. So the bonus content I've added, I'm going to show you how to invest in that stock. Get it in your portfolio in an affordable way. So if you have been thinking about joining us in the Road to 100K Investing Challenge, there are now only 6 seats left. Just 2 days ago, there was 8. Now there's only 6. So the link is in the description of this video. Let me drop it in the chat for you too. I invite you to join us in the Road to 100K Investing Challenge. And I hope that you will be in one of the remaining 6 seats. So there's a link in the description and in the comments. Go to bit.ly/100K Investing Challenge. All right. Cool. Now we can get into the topic. So if I had to start over from zero, what would I do? Let me see what you all have said so far about starting over. And please share your thoughts and your experience on starting over from zero. Hey, Eileen. Eileen said, I've always tried to save money, but the life be lifing. I know that's right, girl. I basically started from zero at age 51. Okay, and it's scary. But now I have a hard set goal. I love that for you. So I'm learning everything I can to save and invest wisely. Good. Good to hear that. I'm going to share actionable steps. I have about 7 steps. And my very first one is what you just said. You have a hard set goal. Setting the goal first. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Dominique said she started by eliminating debt and saving several months worth of expenses. Okay. So a lot of what you all are sharing, you're going to see it overlap in some areas of what I would do as well. So I love to see that we are aligned together. Let's see. Angie Mo, I'm thinking challenging, but doable with some tweaks to the lifestyle. Starting over. Yeah, starting over would be challenging. Absolutely. And it's definitely doable. Shut. The hair is popping. Thank you, sis. Y'all, I am loving my locks. Y'all hear me? They are finally starting to mature. I am loving them. I am about 16 months locked now. I started from this much hair. Like, my hair wasn't even longer than my fingernail. I am loving it. I am loving how they're growing out. I usually get a retwist between every 6 to 8 weeks. I don't know what I'm going to do with this gray hair, though. I might get it colored again before I go abroad again. But thank you, girl. I'm loving my hair. I don't really do much to it. I just spray it every morning, keep it moisturized because my hair is really dry, and keep it pushing. I fluff it up like this. I do like this and keep it pushing. I don't do nothing to my hair. I love this low maintenance lifestyle in this phase of my life. But anyway, let's get back on topic. Let me focus. Let's see. Oh, Greta King said she started over at 39. I'm now 50. You're now 50. I'm assuming that's what that means. I invested in my employer's 401k plan. I started with a target fund, then changed it to an S&P index fund. I decided to be aggressive since I started over. Okay. It's very interesting that you consider the S&P 500 index fund as aggressive. Okay. Good, good, good. Oh, you're 56. Okay. I see the correction. I'm glad that you were able to start over. All right. Let's see. Anyone else share their experience about starting over? Uh, if I could start over, Pamela Jones, if I could start over from zero, I would have begun by A, saving, and B, investing eons ago. And not just in the last few years, but now is better than never. That's right, sis. Now is better than never. We have so many regrets about our past, but the past is the past. We can't control that, right? We can't change that. But what we can control is what we do starting today, what we do starting right now. And there's even a saying that the best time to invest was 20 years ago. But if we didn't start 20 years ago, oh well. The second best time to invest is now. Yes. So you doing it, sis. You doing it. It is never too late. Better now than never. Yes, yes. Maya Spikes, how much money will we invest during the challenge? During the challenge, I'm asking all of the challenge members to bring at least $20, to have at least $20. If you have more than that available, that's wonderful. But what I'm teaching you, just showing you the structure and the setup, you can do it with just $20. You don't need a lot to start. Okay. Will I do the challenge again? I ask because I work on Monday and Wednesday night, so I will miss the upcoming challenge, but need it desperately. The challenge will be recorded, and you can watch the video and still learn with us. So don't let your job get in the way of you changing your life by learning a life-changing skill. I have made it so that every excuse I've heard, you cannot use it as a reason for not joining the challenge. It's way more affordable than anything I've ever offered. This is the most affordable thing that I would ever do live, teaching you live. It's only 3 days, so it does not require a lot of your time, and every session will be recorded and available to you to watch the replay. So come on and join us and take one of those 6 seats that are remaining. All right. Yes, Tanya, I see you. There was an early bird special. When I offer something, y'all better get on it. That first week or two I offer it. Yes. You started paying off debt at the tender age of 57. Good for you. Good for you, Venus. And now I'm trying to learn as much as I can about financial literacy. All right. Good, good, good. Okay. You started over, Tanya, after I stopped helping those need more. Gotta have family members. You started over after you stopped helping your family members? I think that's what you mean. If so, good for you. I just did a video recently on establishing financial boundaries with our family members and our friends. If you're constantly giving, and you're compromising your needs, compromising your goals, and setting yourself back, we need to reevaluate. Okay, so I did read it correctly, Tanya. Okay. We need to reevaluate our priorities, and we can't save everybody. So, yes, I'm glad you stopped trying to save everyone and started focusing on your own financial future. Good for you. All right, I think I saw everyone's comment about starting over. So let's get into some of the things that I would do. And if you can relate to anything I share, feel free to comment on it and let's talk about it. So the person that asked the question, I had to respond to her just to get some clarification on what she was asking me. So I confirmed that she meant starting over at zero. I also asked her if starting over at zero meant that I could also keep my current knowledge and my current expertise. And she responded and said yes. So everything that I share today will be based on what I know today, not when I had zero, but based on what I know today, assuming I lose everything, assuming I don't know what the circumstances are. I'm not going to speak bad on my life, but assuming I lose everything, I have no money, but I get to keep everything else, my knowledge, my expertise, my credit rating. I get to keep everything. I just have no money. Okay. So everything I share is going to be based on that. So building from zero to 100K. And again, like I said, this milestone, this block from zero to 100K is the hardest. And the reason why I say it's the hardest is because it's more psychology and behavior than dollars and cents. Some of my clients, when they are new to me and they hear me say that, they usually give me a side eye like, girl, what you talking about? I just want to learn how to make more money. But after we start working together, usually after about a month of working with me, they're like, oh, I get it. The first 100K is more about psychology, your money mindset, your relationship with money, how you view money. And that's what makes this first six figures the hardest. It challenges us to rethink everything we were taught about money. You know, we grew up in homes where probably there wasn't a lot of money, but we saw our moms and our grandmas, saving and making $1 out of 15 cents. And they pass on certain beliefs and behaviors and advice to us based on what they knew, which was also limited. Um, we're grateful for any positive money habits that they passed on. Most of us learned how to save from my grandmas, right? So we're grateful for the positive financial habits, but even those things that we learned were very limiting. So when I say it's the hardest because it's more psychology and behavior, it challenges us to rethink all the things that we were taught about money. It also challenges us to change our relationship with money. And it's really, really hard to rewire our brains to let go of multi-generational habits and beliefs, right? And as they say, personal finance is personal. So I hope the actionable steps that I share will simply give you food for thought to build a solid financial foundation. But as the other saying go, take what you need and leave the rest on the table. Or chew what you need and spit out the bones. So not everything is going to apply to you. Not everything is going to make sense to you. You're like, girl, I ain't doing that. That's okay. Take what you need and leave the rest on the table. All right. So with that said, this is what I would do if I was starting over from zero. All right. The first thing I would do is, as our good sis said, I would set a goal. And even though I just said from zero to 100K, on the surface, you would think, oh, well, your goal is 100K, right? What's the big deal? The way I set goals is a lot more detailed than that. It's not just a number. When I'm setting goals, I usually take the time to literally envision what I want. And when I say envision, I mean like closing your eyes and thinking about what life would look like when I get to that goal. What would be different once I have 100K in my portfolio versus where I am now with nothing? In my coaching program with the Sister Circle, I always have them every quarter. We start out with the year first, and then they revisit it and revise it every quarter. We write letters to our future self, right? We write letters to our future self. And what the letter does is it congratulates our today self for doing all the things we did to give her what she needed, what she wanted, and what made her happy. So it's like a thank you to ourselves, but we're writing it in the future. And that helps me to envision what I want, not just the number, but how I want to feel, the things that I want to experience. When I was writing my letter to myself about when I wanted to retire early, I wrote things that were so specific, as in what I would see when I woke up in the morning, what I would hear, what I would smell, what my house looked like, the things that I wanted my housekeeper to do for me, the view I wanted to have when I opened the blinds, or if I had no window coverings, the view I wanted to have when I looked out of my window. I'm not there yet because I haven't moved to the place where I want to be because I haven't found it yet. But this vision is so permanent in my mind. It set the goal for me, and I'm not going to stop until I see it, until I feel it, until I hear it, until I smell it, right? And the reason why I put this level of effort into setting my goals, because once I see it, I know I can achieve it. Once I see it clearly, it's not a phantom thought. It's not a dream. It's not something I heard. It's not something that society says I should have. It's something I truly want, and I wrote the vision. And once I can see that vision, I'm going to subconsciously align my actions with pursuing that vision. So that's how it starts with me. Being clear on my vision, what I want at the end of my goal. Now, once I've defined my vision, then I get a little more tactical and I start defining the goal. Okay, now we're talking about the practical things, the 100K. So I reverse engineer the steps. I want to get to 100K. I want to be clear about when I want to get to 100K. And I'll talk about a time frame in a minute, and I'll explain how I came up with that time frame. But I reverse engineer my goals, and I outline all the steps to get me from where I want to be. I start with the end first because I can already see my vision. I start with the end in mind first, and then I reverse engineer it and I back in to where I am today. And that gives me my game plan. And once I got a plan, it's game time. Let's go. It's game time. Let's go. If I were starting from zero, once I had my vision and I had my goals with the steps and I'm ready for game time, I will probably start a new YouTube channel and share my journey every step of the way for full transparency. Because I went from multi-millionaire to zero. I want to share how I built it all again. So full transparency, and I will monetize that channel so fast because I'll be telling all my business. I don't know if there's any OG besties in the house, but that is what I started doing when I joined the financial community on the internet with the blog. I used to write about my business. I used to share everything, full transparency. And that's how my blog grew so quickly. And that's how I was able to sell it and make money when I decided to go ghost and disappear from the internet. When you tell your business, people are interested. This channel right here would be a lot bigger if I told more of my business. But yes, I would share it on a YouTube channel, full transparency, and monetize the YouTube channel. So that will become one of my sources of income, which is a perfect segue into my step number 2. I need to earn some money. Sister girl said, I ain't got nothing. I'm starting from rock bottom, ground zero. I couldn't answer her question because I was like, dang, I got nothing. Nothing. So the most important step is how we gonna get to 100K if we ain't got no money. We got to start bringing some money in. I'm gonna start with creating a new YouTube channel, but that might take a little while. Might take a couple of months to get monetized and get going. So how in the heck would I earn money? I can't do what I'm doing now because ain't nobody gonna want me to coach them if I done lost it all. They're gonna be like, girl, how you gonna teach me anything? You ain't got nothing. So I guess coaching is out of the question. So of all the steps, this one is probably the hardest, but it's also the most important. And I'm gonna tell you something. This is not a popular opinion, but I don't believe in following your passion. I don't believe in doing little odd jobs here and there, little side hustles here and there, doing 5, 10, 11 things to make a little bit of money here and there. No, everything I do is with intention. And if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it big. So I believe in doing what will get me paid. My passions can be a hobby until I no longer have to worry about money. To be honest, that was my approach the first time. I loved blogging about money. I loved sharing my money story. Sometimes I think if I never stopped blogging, if I evolved with social media and the internet, where would I be now? I've asked myself that question. And it just only lasts for a couple of seconds because I have no regrets, because my approach at the time was, this is a hobby you can work on later when you no longer need to worry about money. I need to focus on getting paid and maximizing my return right now. That was my approach the first time, and it worked well. So that's what I'll do again. I'll come back to my passion later. So I circled back to y'all later after I secured the bag. So this is what I'm going to do again. All my passions, I'm going to have to pump the brakes. We're going to go on the back burner. I need to figure out how I can get paid right now. Now, since I get to keep my current expertise, I'm not really starting from the bottom. So I'm going back to work. I'm going back to do what I know. Now, I don't share what my career was on the internet, and I probably never will. But I will tell you this. I have been trained to do a very unique skill, and I have 22 years of experience doing it. So I would not go back to work as a W-2 employee. I would go back to work as a consultant. I would go back to work as a consultant, probably for a major tech company or a major defense contractor, and consult on everything I did in my past career. And with 22 years experience and the connections that I have in the industry, my skills are always in demand. Always in demand. That's how I was able to hop around so much and increase my salary so quickly the first time. So I'm going to just do it again. But this time, I'm going to remove all limits. All limits. I will move anywhere in the world for the highest bidder, or I would travel to anywhere in the world to the highest bidder. I would have no location limits. Back then, my first time around, my first foray, I had opportunities to go worldwide. I was scared. So, since my only limitation is I have no money, I can keep everything else. My knowledge, my skills, my experience, everything that I know now about the world, I have no location limits. I am going where the highest bidder is that wants my consultation expertise. And this might give me a little unfair advantage. I'm going to be honest. But with the current global events going on as a consultant, if I wanted to go back to work, if I needed to go back to work, I could earn at least multiple six figures. At least, modestly speaking, probably 200,000 a year. Probably 200,000 a year. Okay. So I say that's probably an unfair advantage because I was able to keep my current knowledge, my current skills, and my current expertise. But sister girl need money. And it's not about how much money you make. It's what you do with it. So while you may not be able to relate to a multi six figure salary, everything I'm going to share after this is really not about the money. Everything I'm going to share after this, it's how I was able to get ahead so much. I had the leverage of the salary. Yes, that's true. I'm not going to deny that, but it's what I did with it that got me ahead so that I could retire in my 40s. I was actually ready to retire in my 30s. But again, that F word, that fear kind of creeped in. I wasn't sure if it was possible, right? But I could command a salary of at least 200,000 a year. So subtracting 40% for taxes, benefits, health insurance, I'm a consultant, so I have to pay for a whole bunch of stuff myself. So subtracting 40% from that, I'm going to bring home a net of 120K. That's about 10,000 a month take home. That's going to be about 10,000 a month take home. Now we're cooking. What are we going to do with this 10,000 a month take home pay? I'll tell you what I would do. First things first is the easiest thing. It's the easiest thing to do. I'm maxing out my 401k. So as a consultant, with my own business as an entrepreneur, there's a account that's similar to a 401k as if you were a W-2 employee. It's called a solo 401k. I would have a solo 401k and I would max out. I'm still under 50. So my max would be $23,000 a year. If you're 50 and over, you get to contribute another $7,000, right? So I would immediately set up my transfer to put in $23,000 a year in my 401k. Second thing I would do is also the easiest thing. Contribute the max to my Roth IRA. For 2024, the max is $7,000. Under 50 and over, you get to contribute an extra $1,000, so $8,000 for you. Because my salary is so high, I would have to contribute that $7,000 to my Roth IRA using what's called the backdoor method. So I can't contribute directly to a Roth IRA because it has income limits. When your income exceeds the limit, you have to use the backdoor method. And the backdoor method is just simply an extra step. You have to open a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA. Anybody can contribute to a traditional IRA. If your income exceeds the limits, it's just not tax deductible. That's fine. So you contribute the $7,000 to your traditional IRA, and then once it posts in your traditional, then you do a Roth conversion, right? And that's called the backdoor method because you're paying taxes on the money that you put in your traditional. It's not tax deductible because your income exceeds the limits, and then you convert. So that's how a high income earning person can get access to a Roth IRA and skirt around the income limits. It's legal. Our representatives are aware of the loophole. They leave that little hole open. Take advantage of it. Put that $7,000 in a backdoor Roth IRA, right? So that would be $30,000 invested off the rip. So 30,000 of the 100K, that means I still have 70K to go. Right? I still have 70K to go. And by the way, I did not share how long I think it would take me to do it. I believe I could get to 100K living comfortably not restricting myself, not being super, super duper frugal, not cutting out my travel and the things that I love. I could do it comfortably in about 12 to 18 months. 12 to 18 months. So off the rip, my 401k and my Roth IRA, that's $30,000. So I would just set up automatic allotments to automatically go. Every time I get paid, it would just automatically go to my 401k and my Roth IRA without even thinking about it. I would just set it up automatically. And that's called dollar cost averaging, right? So set it and let it bake. Remember, I don't say set it and forget it. Set it and let it bake. Now we need 70,000 more. How would I rebuild the remaining $70,000? I see a question from Eileen. Will you have to pay taxes again converting it to a Roth? No, because you've already paid taxes, right? This is after tax money that you're putting in a traditional IRA. A traditional IRA is only tax deductible if you meet the income limits, but anybody can invest in a traditional IRA, right? So I wouldn't meet the income limits, so I would put after tax money in a traditional IRA. And because I've already paid taxes on it, when I convert it, the contribution is converted to a Roth IRA without paying taxes again. What you will pay taxes on, depending on the timing of your conversion, if you invested the money when you put it in your traditional IRA, if that money grows and you convert the growth over to the Roth IRA, you will pay taxes on the growth. But when I'm doing the backdoor method and I put the money in the traditional IRA, I don't invest it. So when you put your money in the IRA, it's not invested. It just goes into your settlement account. So I don't invest it. As soon as it posts, I do the conversion. I don't invest it until it gets into the Roth IRA. The money that grows in the Roth IRA grows tax-free. Which, by the way, I have to add this disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a tax professional. This information that I'm sharing is for entertainment and educational purposes only. If you have any tax-related questions that are unique to your personal situation, I strongly recommend that you contact a tax professional. All right? Y'all like my advertising voice? But no, the money you put in has already been taxed. The only thing that will be taxed is if it grew while it was in the traditional IRA. All right. Now, up until this point, this is just step 4. So I got the job. I invested in my 401k. I invested in, no, I'm sorry, back up. I set the goal. I went back to work. I invested in my 401k. I invested in my IRA. So that's step 4. As of step 4, we got $30,000 that's being invested through an automatic plan, dollar cost averaging, just putting a fixed amount into the stock market every pay period. That's dollar cost averaging, right? Dollar cost averaging is very beneficial because you're taking advantage of the lows in the market. You're still investing even when the market is down, and you're still investing even when the market is up. So you don't have to worry about trying to time the market because you're going to get the average over the long term, right? Okay, so we got $70,000 to go. What are we going to do with it? Which, by the way, I ain't got nowhere to live. If I'm starting over from zero, that means I ain't got no money. I ain't traveling. I can't book no Airbnb. I ain't got nowhere to live. Girl, where you living at? I ain't got no house. I ain't got no car. I ain't got nothing. Right? So step number 5, what I would do for housing and transportation. These next steps are where you will have to let go of generational habits and limiting beliefs. Because the majority of the people that land a job and make 6 figures, what's the first thing they do? They going out and buy a car. They got to get that Lexus. I don't know why Lexus is viewed as like luxury vehicles in our community, but I see so many of them. They got to get that Benz. They got to get that Beamer. They got to flex because they got money. You ain't got no money. I'm making 6 figures. I'm still broke. I'm still broke. I ain't got no money. Or they go out and buy a house because society says home ownership is what? The American dream. So I can buy a house now. I can fulfill my dream. Why they keep feeding us all these lies, y'all? Why they keep feeding us all these lies? This is where what I would call the rubber meeting the road, and where I separate from the pack. Because despite the 6-figure salary, I would not buy a home and I would not buy a car. I don't care about flexing. I don't care about proving to people that I got a good paying job. I don't even care about what I can afford. At this point, I'm broke. I can't afford it. And I'm aware that what you can afford is relative. In my opinion, if I don't have any investments, I ain't said nothing about an emergency fund yet. I'm broke. I can't afford a house and I can't afford a car. My salary does not dictate what I can afford if I haven't established a foundation yet. I have no financial foundation. This is where people start taking 2 steps back. They've gone to college, they got the degree, they got the student loan debts, they get the job, they get the coveted 6-figure salary, then they go out buying stuff. We're not doing that. We're rebuilding from zero. We're rebuilding from zero. I would not buy a home or a car. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what society says. I don't care what anybody thinks I should be doing. I am not compromising for a small flex. I want the big flex. I want the big flex. I want to think big. That me cracks me up. I want to think big, y'all. I need my foundation solid. I'm not building a house of cards. I'm not building my house on quicksand. I can't afford a house yet. I'm broke. I'm focused on the bigger goal to get what I said I wanted in step 1. That vision that I wrote out for myself. Those goals I reverse engineered. That's what I'm focused on. I'm not focused on all the other stuff that society says I should have. I don't care about it. Right? Housing and transportation are our 2 largest expenses, followed by food. And those 2 expenses are what limits us from the life we say we want. My goal at this point in step 4 would be to keep my expenses as low as possible until I've gained some traction. I'm not saying I'll never buy a house. I'm not saying I'll never buy a car. But for right now, I'm not buying either because I want to keep my expenses as low as possible. I need enough to gain traction. I don't have enough to gain traction yet. Right now, I'm still skidding on ice. Anything can knock me down. I'm a contractor. I'm a consultant. This government contractor or this tech company could lay me off tomorrow. Then what? That's where people get themselves caught up because they start buying things and they haven't gained traction yet. So this is what I mean. We have to retrain our brains to let go of what we've been taught and to let go of those beliefs that we have learned from society. I'm not buying anything until I gain some traction. So my goal is to keep my expenses as low as possible. And this is starting over right now. So for housing, I'm going to rent a room from a family member. or from a friend for a couple of months, like 2, maybe 3 months until I get a few paychecks. I just started this job. I'm going to stay with a family member. I can think of a few family members I can stay with if my job is here in the United States. And when I think about the regions of the country I would live in order to do the type of work that I do, I know plenty of people that will let me stay in a room and break them off about $1,000 a month, right? How many of you could use another $1,000 a month if you had a clean person that just needed the extra room in your house, right? So I would stay with one of those family members. If I lived abroad, cost of living probably cheaper anyway. I could probably rent an apartment for $1,000. But assuming here in the United States, I would rent a room from a family member or from a friend. They probably wouldn't even take money from me, but I'm just going to say rent because I would pay them something. And I would stay with a family member or friend for about 2 or 3 months because I need to get a few paychecks in. I have nothing, y'all. I have nothing. I need them paychecks to start rolling in. When I do move out, I would still rent because I don't want any repair costs or any maintenance expenses. When you rent, let the landlord handle that. My toilet backed up, landlord. The roof looked like it got a leak in it, landlord. The air conditioner ain't working, landlord. I have no traction, so I don't have room for error. I don't have room for the extra repairs and the maintenance expenses. So when I do move out from the family member or the friend's house, after a couple of months, I'm going to rent an apartment. It's probably going to be a small apartment because I want the rent to be less than $2,000 a month. So in the areas where I'm thinking I would probably live, it'll be a little hard to find something nice for less than $2,000 a month. So that means it'll be small, right? So renting to keep my expenses fixed. I don't know if you guys follow Ramit Sethi when he talks about the difference between renting and owning a home. A lot of people think, oh, you're renting an apartment, you're throwing money away. Well, like he says, I'm giving credit to Ramit. The way he explains it, when you rent an apartment, the amount you pay for rent is the maximum you're going to pay. Your expenses are capped. You know exactly how much you're going to pay every month. When you buy a home, even if I bought a home with a monthly payment that was equivalent, $2,000 a month, I still wouldn't do it because when you buy a home, as Ramith says, your mortgage is the minimum you're going to pay. There's a whole lot that can happen in a month when you're a homeowner. That toilet get backed up, that air conditioner go out, that roof start leaking. I ain't got no money. I can't afford the unknowns right now. So I'm not buying a house. I'm renting an apartment, letting the landlord take care of all the extras, and I'm capping my expenses for rent at $2,000 a month. For transportation, I would not buy a car. For the first few months, I will take public transportation to work. I have no money. In the area where I would live in order to do the type of work that I do, public transportation is plentiful. It's fine. It's efficient. I will take public transportation to work. I don't need a car. And these days, it's very likely that I will probably work from home. And if I had to go into the office, it may only be 1 or 2 days a week. So I can hop on the train or the bus 1 or 2 days a week. And yes, Kimmy, those are phantom costs that we don't think about. And Greta, also property taxes. Exactly. And property insurance, homeowners insurance. Now, in my rental, I would still have rental insurance, but rental insurance is like $100 a year. I think the most I've ever paid for rental insurance was maybe $150 a year. And that's only because I increased the coverage because at the time I got engaged and wanted to cover my jewelry. But renter's insurance is so cheap. Homeowners insurance, not so much, right? But back to the transportation. So I wouldn't buy a car. I would take public transportation for the first few months. When I'm ready to buy a car, it won't be immediately. I would buy a used car. I'm not flexing buying a Beamer, a Benz, a Lexus. I ain't flexing doing none of that. Y'all know what I'm gonna buy? Who knew what kind of car I drove? Y'all know what I'm gonna buy? It's gonna be a little used car, probably less than $20,000. I ain't got no Tesla money. That salary looked like I got Tesla money, but I'm not making decisions on the salary. I'm making decisions based on where I want to go. I can't afford a Tesla. I'm spending less than $20,000 on a used car. And yes, ma'am, Miss Greta, I'm buying me a Honda Accord. I'm buying me a used Honda Accord. Baby, them Hondas, they gonna give you 200,000 miles or more and ride smooth. I don't care about what nobody think. It could be a 2018, 2019. It don't matter. As long as it passed the maintenance check, I'll have my uncle or my brother, check out the used car, make sure it's safe. Ain't no major issues with it. The odometer ain't been rolled back. I'm buying me a used Honda Accord. And I don't want to spend any more than $20,000. $20,000 is my max. And I want my payment to be less than $400 a month. $300 preferably, but less than $400 a month. Now, rates are high, so that's going to be kind of hard. And before I went live, I did do some quick Googles, and I saw that rates for used cars are about 9%. Jeez, Jesus Christ. For new cars is about 7%. So I probably wouldn't get a regular car loan. I would probably, because again, I get to keep everything else. I only lost my money. I get to keep everything else. I would probably get a personal loan. And I think with my credit rating, I could probably get a better rate, maybe 6%. Still kind of high, but maybe 6%. So it'd be a challenge trying to find a good used car, less than $20,000 with a payment of less than $400 a month. But that will be my limit. That's my max. I don't care how long it takes to find the car. I'm not going over that amount. Ain't nothing on that lot that's going to track me so much where I bend what I said my limits were. And a sleazy salesman is not going to con me out of my goal that I wrote in step 1. So let's get that little bit of used Honda Accord and get a car payment less than $400 a month, right? Yes, healing mindset, 9%. I was like, oh my God. Yes, 6% 3 years ago. Yeah, it was. Yeah. So with that said, let's recap my expenses so far. I'm going to stay with family members for a while, and I'm going to ride public transportation. So for the first few months, I'm not going to have very many overhead expenses. But once I move out, get my own wheels, $2,000 max for the apartment, $400 max for the car. So that's about $2,400 in monthly expenses. Let's add in utilities, insurance, gas, groceries, regular life, and a little bit of fun. We got to put a little sprinkle on it because I'm not living like I'm in poverty. Now, I'm going to make some decisions where I'm limiting myself, but I'm not going to live like I'm in poverty. I ain't in poverty. I'm broke, but I ain't broke, right? So let's say the $2,400 for the apartment and the car, add in the utilities, insurance, gas, groceries, regular life, and a little bit of fun. Let's round it up for a total of about $5,000 a month in expenses, okay? Remember, I'm bringing home $10,000 a month in income after taxes and benefits. So I've created $5,000 a month in expenses. So that leaves me with $5,000 a month in discretionary income. Now we cooking with grease. I still need $70,000 to rebuild this 100K portfolio. But you see how I had to spend so much time focus on limiting the 2 biggest expenses that we all have. If you ignore that and spend what you can afford based on what your salary says you can afford, This is how you keep yourself on that hamster wheel and keep yourself tethered to that job longer than you want to be. I want you to stay focused. I want you to stay focused on step one. That's why step one is so important. That's why step one is so important. No, Greta, 9% with good credit. No, I was saying that 9% is what I found from the Googles for a used car. I was saying with good credit, I think I could get a better rate than 9%. I'm thinking I could probably get about 6%, a 6% rate if I were to get like a regular personal loan or something. But on 9% was just the Google results. And yeah, I did see a chart that showed the 9%, I guess that was the standard rate, and then what they call it semi-prime, and then they call it subprime, and then there's another level. And I guess each level down, the credit score went worse and worse. And the lowest at the bottom, the rate was like almost 20%. I was like, girl, no. No. So I spent so much time on step 5 because that's where we have to separate from the pack. That's where the people that take this road, they end up creating more expenses than the income they have coming in because they feel like, oh, I made it. I got my degree. I got this job. I work hard. I deserve a house. I deserve a car. This is no judgment against anybody that thinks that. I just want to make it clear this is where the problems begin. And if I were rebuilding from zero, I don't have the mindset that I deserve anything. What I deserve is what I want and what I said my goal was in step 1. That's what I deserve. All this stuff in between is just fluff. It's just fluff. I don't care about it. So it's not a priority to me. I'm going to stay with my people for a couple of months. I don't care what you think. I'm going to ride the public transportation for a couple of months. I don't care what you think. And when I do buy a car, I'm buying a used car. Flex for who? I don't care. I'm focused. It's game time, y'all. Let's play like we want to win. Don't let nobody take you off your game. Right? Step 6. We ain't got no emergency fund yet. Without an emergency fund, this is what causes people to turn to credit cards. They use credit cards to pay for emergencies. They use credit cards to bridge the gap between the things that they think they deserve and the things they want to buy and what their income says they can afford. They start using credit cards to bridge that gap. I don't want debt. I don't want no problems. I don't want no problems with Uncle Sam. I don't want no problems with the credit card company. So my next focus in step 6 is to build my e-fund. Some people call it rainy day fund because they think emergency fund has a negative connotation. Whatever you want to call it. Let's call it cash reserves to be neutral. My step 6, my priority will then become building my cash reserve. I have $5,000 a month in discretionary income. I'm saving it all. Every dime, every penny, every dollar. Building a 6-month emergency fund. 6 months of expenses, not 6 months of salary. I've heard people say salary, and it confuses me a little bit because your salary, hopefully, is not what you're spending on expenses. You're not spending all of it on expenses. The purpose of building an emergency fund is to save up money to pay for expenses. So if my expenses are $5,000 a month and I want to have a 6-month emergency fund, 5,000 times 6 is $30,000. I need $30,000 in an emergency fund. Now, I'm not saying all of that's going to be liquid. I'm going to tell you what I would do in a minute. Ain't nowhere in the world I'm letting $30,000 sit in cash. Based on what I know, absolutely not. Absolutely not. If that's what you do, and it works for you, it helps you to sleep at night, by all means, continue to do that. Personal finance is personal. It's okay if it gives you peace of mind. I would not leave $30,000 in cash. But getting back to it, I would save every bit of my discretionary income until I fully funded this e-fund because this is a priority to me. I've already allowed some cushion in my expenses because remember my apartment and my car was only $2,400 a month. I rounded that up to $5,000 to give room for utilities, insurance, gas, having fun, having, a little bit of fun. So I rounded that up to 5,000. If I can't live on $5,000 a month, I'm doing the most. I'm doing too much and I need to sit down anyway. But this extra 5,000, I'm saving every dime. It's going into what I'm going to earmark as my emergency fund. So by saving $5,000 a month, this is going to take me about 6 months to do it. And I'm going to make it a priority. And the reason why is because I need a cushion for a soft landing when life happens. The very first comment in this chat was life be lifing. And girl, I know, life be lifing. And I need my employees. Every dollar I earn, I call it an employee of Malika Incorporated. I need my employees to be ready to go to work for me when life start lifing. Because I can't handle it all. I'm consulting with this company. I'm trying to ride public transportation to go to work. I'm doing all the things already, trying to maintain my sanity. I can't handle extra stuff right now. I ain't got no money. I ain't got no traction. So I need my employees to do the work for me. So right now, as long as life is smooth, as long as life is chugging along just fine, I need to take advantage of this quiet time because we all know life is going to life. It's coming. We don't know when. We don't know how much the expense is going to be. But when things are good, we need to be putting those employees to the side so they can be deployed when we need them to go to work, right? And I don't want to have debt. I don't want to create debt. So that's another reason why building this 6-month reserve is important to me, right? I may get laid off. I'm a consultant. I'm not a full-time employee. Remember? I may get laid off. That's always a possibility for me. Even though I'm making good money, that's today. I always need to think about if I get laid off, those employees in that emergency fund, they're going to go to work for me when I get laid off. So I'm not stressed out. I'm buying a used car. So if my car breaks down, I need those employees to go to work for me. So I'm not stressed out. If something happens, a mistake, an accident, and I need to go to the ER and I get a medical bill, with the type of insurance I have as an entrepreneur, I'm going to have a deductible. I'm going to have to pay a deductible out of pocket before the insurance company starts kicking in. I need those employees to go to work for me. So everything I'm saying, I'm assessing my risk. That's what I want you to do when you're deciding how much of an emergency fund. And thank you, Deborah. She calls it a peace fund. I like that. Deborah calls it a peace fund. So when you're assessing how much of a peace fund you should have, may I borrow your word? I like that. I'm going to start using that, Deborah. So when you're assessing how much of a peace fund you should have, it should be based on you assessing your lifestyle and your risk. I know there's usually general advice that's given, and that's because it's hard to analyze everyone's needs individually. You have to give some broad advice when you're talking to the masses. But if I were coaching you one-on-one, if I were coaching you and I had an understanding of what your individual circumstances were, we would either lower that number based on your risk assessment or increase that number based on your risk assessment. And I'll tell you why I'm saying that. I have a client. She is married and she has 2 kids. She has 2 kids that are special needs children. And her husband also has a debilitating ailment. She is the primary breadwinner in her family. If she don't work, they don't eat. Is a 6-month emergency fund sufficient for her? Absolutely not. She works for a small business, not a major corporation. There's more risk when you work for a small business. They can shut down at any time. There's more risk in her lifestyle because she has more that she's carrying on her shoulders. Her risk assessment is different from my risk assessment. In this lifestyle, this scenario that we've created, I'm now a consultant. So I'm a contractor. I'm not a W-2. I don't have a secure job. So my risk assessment would be different from your risk assessment if you have a secure 9-to-5, right? So I would save 6 months. You may only need 3 months, right? So I share all that to say, to explain to you why I would prioritize the full 6 months, because I need my employees, my soldiers, to go to battle when life start lifing. And for me, of that $30,000, $5K a month times 6, of that $30,000, I would not keep it all liquid. I would keep about 10,000 of it liquid, only because my brain won't allow me to process letting 30,000 employees sit on the bench and don't do no work. Well, they got a job, but I need some of those employees to do a little harder job. So I would put 10,000 in a high yield savings account. I would keep that liquid. And a high yield savings account these days earn about 5% until Brother Jerome start lowering rates again. And this might surprise some people. Again, this goes against the grain of what you've been taught. But this is what Malika would do if she was rebuilding. I would invest $20,000 in a growth mutual fund. I want $20,000 in a mutual fund because it's diversified and relatively safe. But because my risk tolerance is high, because of my knowledge and my expertise that I was allowed to keep, I will put it in a growth mutual fund because I want to earn more than the average return in the stock market. I want to earn more than the S&P 500. I'm willing to take the risk. I want more than 5%. So a growth mutual fund is going to get you about 12 to 13%. Right? But that $30,000 total is earmarked for employees that are going to go to work for me when life happens. So, all right, we got 23K in a 401k, we got 7K in a Roth IRA, we got 30K in a peace fund. I was about to say emergency again. I thought about you, Deborah, a peace fund. So that's a total of $60,000 of the 100K. I still got 40K to go. And we've been on for over an hour. I'm going to speed this up. I see your comments. I'm going to circle back to your comments after I get through all of my steps, okay? We still got 40K to go. All right? So what would I do with the $5,000 after I fully funded my emergency fund? I would dedicate everything to the emergency fund. Again, because of the risk assessment that my life is at the moment. I have nothing. I'm broke. I have no traction. I have high risk because I'm a consultant. That contractor is not bound to me for any reason. They can let me go at any time. So I'm not splitting my money. I know I'm the coach that says you need to be investing. You need to be investing. Ma'am, you need an emergency fund. You need a peace fund. You need a peace fund. You need a foundation first because life be lifing. If you don't have a foundation when life start lifing, what you gonna do? Put it on a credit card. Put it on a credit card. I'm not doing that. Y'all notice I haven't applied for any credit cards yet. I have 0. She told me I was starting over from 0. I haven't applied for any credit cards yet because I don't want one. I don't want one. I'm focused on the steps that I've outlined in step number 1. Remember when I reverse engineered my goals? That's what I'm focused on, right? So all of the 5K will go towards building my emergency fund. My investments are my 401k and my Roth IRA that I completely control because those are self-funded. I'm a consultant. I'm a contractor. So I can invest those however I want. I didn't talk about what I would invest in, but I'll talk about investing in this next step. So 5K for 6 months, all going to my peace fund. After my peace fund is fully funded, I'm going to redirect everything into a taxable brokerage account. I'm going to redirect everything into a taxable brokerage account, right? It will probably take me, depending on if I decided to invest or trade, but because I don't talk about trading on this channel, I'm going to go with the investing option. And I'll tell you why I wouldn't trade it in a minute. So going with investing, it will take me probably about 6 to 12 months to grow $40,000, right? Probably less than that. Let's say 6 months. It'll take me about 6 months to grow $40,000. And I would invest the full $5,000 a month into my taxable brokerage account, and I will invest it all in individual growth stocks. I'm all growth. I'm not doing anything safe. My risk tolerance is high. I have the knowledge because I've educated myself. I only lost my money. I didn't lose my knowledge. I would invest it all in individual growth stocks. If I'm feeling a little froggy, I might buy some leveraged ETFs. Those are different from regular ETFs. So leveraged ETFs are derivatives of ETFs, but they move faster. So if you have an ETF that increased today $2, the leveraged ETF would increase $4, right? If you have a regular ETF that over the course of a month has increased 3%, that leverage ETF will have increased 6%. Leverage ETFs are very risky, so you have to have the risk tolerance for it, because leverage, the example I gave, talking about increase, it could also go in the opposite direction. So it increases faster, it also drops faster. Okay, so I would invest all of it in individual growth stocks. I'm all focused on growth. I'm active investing. I'm not doing any passive investing. I am actively investing in growth stocks. I am actively managing this portfolio. And if I'm feeling a little froggy, I might do some leveraged ETFs as well. So leaving a little margin of error, I use a compound interest calculator. And it showed me that I could build $40,000 in investments in about 6 to 7 months. But I want to leave a margin of error and add that 6 to 7 months to the 6 months it will take me to build the emergency fund, the time it will take me to find the job, land the job, get a couple of paychecks and get started. Adding all of that together, I would say it will probably take me about 18 months average to rebuild from 0 to 100K. About 18 months with all 7 steps I just shared. Alternatively, I could trade the 5K a month and shorten that time frame to 12 months. I can confidently say I can do it in a year if I were trading. But would I trade? No, I would not. And the reason why I would not trade is because I have nothing. Y'all remember, I'm starting from nothing. I need to rebuild my financial foundation. And if I have nothing, I don't have any money that I'm willing to lose. I have no money that I'm willing to lose. I need every dime. And if I'm going to take any risk, I need to be 99.99% confident that I'm going to make money with that decision in the stock market. And I'm not that confident when I'm trading. And any trader that tells you they're 100% confident, I promise you they lying. I promise you they lying. I don't have any money that I'm willing to lose in this phase of my life when I'm building the first 100K. I can't afford to lose anything. So when I can't afford to lose anything, I'm not trading. So in this case, with the first 6 figures, I'm investing only. I can do it in about 18 months, rebuilding from zero. If it takes you longer, that's fine. I tell my clients all the time, the time is going to pass anyway. If it takes you 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, the time is going to pass anyway. But if you don't start because you think it'll take you too long, or if you start and you quit because you're like, oh my God, it's taking too long, it won't happen at all. And still, the time is going to pass anyway. So why not continue on the path to achieve the goal that you said was important to you in step 1? The time is going to pass anyway. Unless you have a better idea to get to that goal faster without losing money, the time is going to pass anyway. So don't worry about how long it will take if you're starting over or you're in the process of just getting started and you're building your first 6-figure portfolio. Don't focus on the time. Focus on those steps that you re-engineered and the vision that you wrote out when you wrote the letter to yourself. So at this point, I would pull out that letter that I wrote to myself 18 months ago, and I would read the letter, and it will say, Malika, you did that, girl. I appreciate you so much. This is what you've done for me. I now have a 6-figure portfolio. I now have a fully funded emergency fund. I am in the process of doing XYZ. I may start saving to buy that house now. If I bought a house, it would not be a single family home. I would buy a multifamily property. I would buy a multifamily property because my expenses are still not going to increase. I would be willing to take on more risk because I have a foundation now, but I'm still not willing to increase my expenses. I would buy a multi-unit property, live on one side and rent out the other, and I will probably lower my expenses because the tenant gonna pay my mortgage, right? But that letter, future Malika is gonna be praising me for all of the decisions that I made for her and praising me for the lifestyle that she's able to live and the things that she's able to do because I made the sacrifice. And when I'm reading that letter, I'm like, Malika, I love you, girl. I tell myself all the time, girl, I love you because I love my life now. Write that letter to yourself. Write that letter to Greta 2 years from now, Tanya 6 months from now, Janice 3 years from now, Maya 5 years from now, however long it takes you. Write that letter to your future self and write out all the things that you're thanking your current self for. Write it out so you'll have it in print. And when that time comes, when you read it, I promise you, it's such a good feeling. It's such a good feeling. I love it. But I hope this was helpful. Now I'm going to read your comments and see what you guys had to say about the 7 steps I shared. I'm going to go all the way back to the beginning. But if anyone is rebuilding, starting over from zero, and you want to build your investment portfolio, I invite you to join my 3-day investing challenge. The investing challenge I mentioned earlier, it begins on June 10th. As a reminder, I will teach you how to navigate the market. The confidence that I have in my ability to make the money to build this 6-figure portfolio is because I educated myself. I learned from people that are way, way smarter than me. And I'm going to take what I've learned and my 20 plus years of experience in the market, and I'm going to pour it into you. so you can learn how to navigate the market, how to build a portfolio, how to manage risk. A lot of people don't know how to manage risk. That's why they panic when the market is down. That's why they're freaking out when the market is red, when the news articles, the headlines are saying the market is crashing and you're panicking. It's because you don't know how to manage risk. And even if you're already investing in the stock market, but you're not really confident in what you're doing, come to the challenge. I can help you too. And like I said, I'm opening a new brokerage account just for the challenge. And I'm going to demo everything that I teach you in real time. Everything I teach you in real time. So join us in the challenge. I will drop the link again. Join us in the challenge. We start on June 10th, but seats are limited. There are only 6 seats left. And y'all saw Sister Girl earlier today. She said she missed the early bird pricing. I don't know if I'm going to raise the price again. I don't know. I've only raised it once. I might. One more time. But there are 6 seats left. So get your seat. Take one of them 6 seats and join us in the challenge so you can learn how to structure a portfolio and manage risks to get you to your first 100K. If you're already beyond 100K, add a 0. Just add a 0. It can get you to that next milestone that you want to meet. All right? So join us. Join us. And for the ladies that have already joined, I see you are coming into the private group. I see some of you have responded to my welcome message. Hey, girl, hey, if you're watching. There are 3 of you that are in the challenge that haven't joined the private group yet. So if you have not, check your email. My email may have gone to your spam folder. So check your spam folder. Or if you have the tabs on your Gmail, check the promo tab too. It could be in there. So in your email confirmation, there is important information to join the private community and to access the challenge room. All right. But I look forward to meeting all of you on June 10th. Let me look at these comments. Greta said, oh, Lexus is a high-end Toyota. Yeah, I don't know why our community. We love the Lexus, girl. We love the Lexus. Heard that Lexus are like Toyota of luxury cars, very affordable to maintain when compared to. Okay. All right. Yeah, people love buying Lexus. I ain't fooling with none of that. They expensive. They too expensive. I can't afford it. I'm starting from 0. Give me a Honda Accord and I'm happy. Venus, would you go back to work if you were starting over at 65? Absolutely not. No, ma'am, Venus. I would not. At 65, these are your golden years. These are your golden years. I would have a different plan if I was 65. I won't go through that tonight. But I will have a completely different plan. I would not do what I outlined tonight if I was 65. Absolutely not. But I'm sorry to hear that you have circumstances that are requiring you to start over at 65. I'm very sorry to hear that. If you need financial assistance, I would be happy to help you. You can go to my website, moneycoachmalika.com, and get on my calendar. Let's talk. Keeping your eye on the ball. Absolutely. We're not out here flexing. We ain't buying none of the stuff that society expects you to buy. We ain't doing none of that. We're keeping our eye on the ball. That's right, Dominique. You think it's small. Yeah. I love that meme. You think it's small when you need to be thinking big. Think big. Y'all got me here cracking up. I love that meme. Don't be thinking small. Don't run out and buy a house as soon as you make a little bit of money. Don't run out and buy a luxury car as soon as you make some money. No. No. If your goal is to take a sabbatical, if your goal is to retire early, if your goal is to, I don't know, sit on your couch and eat bonbons because you don't want to work no more, stay focused on that goal. Don't let the society, don't let people in this society get you off track. Think big. Think big. That little house, that little car, that's little stuff. You got bigger goals. Think big. Think big. Let's see. Heal it mindset. Yes. You missed the early bird pricing too. Mm-hmm. Uh, yep, Greta. Rental insurance is so cheap. Rental insurance is so cheap. If you rent an apartment, a condo, a house, or whatever, these days, I think most apartment complexes require it as part of the lease and they want to see proof of it. But even if the owner does not require it, get you some renter's insurance. $125 a year can give you so much peace of mind. When there's a fire, when the sprinklers go off, when I don't know, somebody in your house and get bit by your dog, like it's so much that insurance can cover. Don't leave yourself out there. Don't leave yourself hanging out there over $125. Get you some renter's insurance. Ooh, yes, Janice. Oh, y'all coming with it. I missed all of these good comments. When you actually need to file an insurance claim and pay that deductible. Ooh, child, yeah, that deductible can be high. Tanya, your insurance is $1,700. Well, your homeowner's insurance is $1,700. I forgot to ask y'all to put Q's in front of the question if you had a question, so I'm not able to move really fast through the comments. Yep, look, a Honda Accord, 200,000 easy. 200,000 easy. Yes. That Honda Accord got 200,000 miles and still be purring. Still be purring just fine. I drove a Honda Accord for 19 years, y'all. Yeah. So Shauna, absolutely. I'm making decisions based on my salary. That salary said I could afford a lot. But what did y'all hear me buy? I ain't buy nothing. In the first year of rebuilding, I ain't buy nothing. Absolutely nothing. But that second year, once I established that foundation, that first 100,000 is your foundation. Once you have a foundation, everything is different. Everything could change then, but you need that foundation first. Kimmy says she got a used Toyota with 230,000. Okay. Oh, your Honda was totaled. I'm sorry to hear that. And the person who hit me was an expedition. Girl. Sashana. She told me I could keep everything. I just had to give up the money. I started from zero. I could keep everything else. So those were the criteria I was given. I could keep everything else. My knowledge, my expertise, my credit rating, everything else. I just ain't had no money. So yeah, 9% interest rate on a card, 9%. If you had bad credit, it was actually higher than that. It was double digits for the subprime loans. Jacqueline, if you have young children, they are your biggest expenses. I think that is the situation for most. If you have young children that are not school age, I can agree with that. Because daycare is hella expensive. One of my friends, what she was paying in daycare was almost equivalent to her mortgage. I was like, oh my God. And she was like, Lord, I can't wait till these kids go to school. So I agree with this if they are not school age. Beyond school age, once you're no longer paying for daycare, you're giving them a house to live in and you're buying food, right? You need to buy that anyway. So those are still the two biggest expenses. Yeah, they grow, so you got to buy clothes. But when you're starting from nothing, there are ways to buy affordable clothes and shoes, right? So unless you're talking about the extra stuff that makes having a child expensive, buying the things they want, not the things they need, buying the things they want, yes, that can get expensive. But in this first year scenario I was describing, starting from zero, I ain't got no money to buy that extra stuff. Mm-mm. The kids gonna make some sacrifices too. Not just mama. The kids gonna make some sacrifices too. Do you pay off the car loan as soon as possible? That's a really good question. It depends on my interest rate, right? If I was to be able to catch a dealer where they were offering like a 0% or 1.9% or something like that, and the rate was low, I would not pay it off. But if the rate is what we've been talking about, 9%, double digits, yeah, I will pay it off after I establish my foundation. The foundation is first. If I don't have a solid foundation, I ain't got it. I ain't got it. But after I establish that foundation, after I finish that step 7, I'm going to circle back and start doing some things differently. So yeah, I probably would pay off the car loan if the rate was high. Mm-hmm. I don't know how people with children are making it in this economy, especially multiple children. If you have multiple young children, child. Hey, Eileen. I would definitely forego the house. I believe buying a house was the next step and wish I stayed renting. The costs of being a homeowner are ridiculous. I agree. Yeah. Listen, I bought my first house. I might have to do a separate video only on this experience, but I've kind of dropped some breadcrumbs throughout other videos. My first house was a bad decision for me. It took me years and years to recover from that decision. It was one of the worst financial decisions I've ever made. After I recovered from that experience, I did end up buying rental properties, but never ever a house to live in. I rented. I rented after I sold that first house. I've always rented. I own property, but they're property that generate income. Where I lived, I've always rented. I think the idea of homeownership and the benefits of homeownership, people confuse it with buying a house to live in. That's just an expense. I have a video I'll link in the description. I'll probably link it in the card too. What Black women need to know about homeownership. The house that you buy as your primary residence to live in, it's not an investment. It's just the house that you live in. It's just an expense. And it creates a whole bunch of other expenses too. Unless you're house hacking and you're creating income from it. But more detail in that video. I won't rehash everything. But yeah, I made the same mistake too, Eileen. I was caught up in that American dream. They had me bamboozled, y'all. They had me bamboozled. They had y'all bamboozled too. Thank you again, Deborah, for the Peace Fund idea. I'm going to start using Peace Fund from now on. Yeah. You work. How you work 2 jobs from home? You're one of those people that work 2 9-to-5s at the same time? Greta, yes. I call Jerome Powell Brother Jerome. Brother Jerome and Biden Uncle Joe. Yes. Tim Cook, that's one of my uncles too. Tim Cook, my uncle too. Yes, I like the Peace Fund versus the Emergency Fund. Now I'm just rambling, just hanging out with y'all. I'm just reading the comments. So if y'all have been hanging in there with me this whole time, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hit that like button. Hit that like button before you fall off. But I'm going to go through all these comments and respond to everyone that was so gracious to engage with me tonight. And I want to be able to respond to you if you ask me a question. I'm getting to you. I'm getting to you. So if you have to leave, I love you all. Thank you so much for being here. All right, Greta King, individual growth stocks and index funds or ETFs. So when I use the word individual, that means the individual company itself, the individual stock itself. I would not invest, you mean my step 7? I would not invest in index funds or ETFs. I would invest solely in individual growth stocks, individual companies that are growing exponentially. No index funds, no ETFs, no safe, staying safe, playing small. I got to build that 6 figures back up. So I'm taking all the risk, head down, in my zone, doing my fundamental analysis, doing my technical analysis. I'm putting in the work to make my money until my money can work for me. So, yeah. Oh, you're welcome, Tanya. You're welcome. I hope it was helpful. Was this helpful? If so, let me know. Let me know in the comments, what was your favorite takeaway? Did you learn anything? Would you do anything different? That's a better question. Would you do anything different based on what I've shared? Because sometimes you got to go against the grain. You got to go against the grain and do things differently than what the average person would do, or what status quo is doing, or what the media and society is telling us that we should be doing. We got to do something different if we want something different, right? Hey, Leslie. Malika, I feel the same way about the duplex. I tell all of the future first-time homeowners that I encounter to execute this strategy so that they can get a huge financial head start. Yes, yes. I also think it's just as easy to get a mortgage on a multi-unit property as a single-family home. In fact, when you're buying a multi-unit property, and don't quote me on this, I'm not saying this is fact, but I believe when you're buying a multi-unit property, they also consider the rent that you could potentially get, the market rate rent for the vacancies, for the vacant units, when they're determining how much they will qualify you for, that they will qualify on your loan. So it's not just a matter of qualifying, based on your income for your single, for your individual home. When you're buying a multi-unit property, they consider other factors as well. So yeah, it's just smart financial literacy to buy a multi-unit property and let your tenant pay the mortgage, or at least the majority of the mortgage. Because if you're renting an apartment, and like in my scenario, if I'm paying $2,000 a month rent and I'm buying multi-unit property, let's say the mortgage is $3,500 a month, and then I charge that tenant $2,000 a month, I'm only paying $1,500 a month. So I've lowered my expenses. But the only reason why I wouldn't do that in the first year is because I need a solid foundation first. If I did that and something happened, I had some expenses I couldn't handle, I had no emergency fund, then I got to run up credit card debt. If I did that and I over leveraged myself in debt and I had no other assets to lean on when life started lifing, then I would lose it all. I would foreclose on the home, or I would have to run up credit card debt. So by establishing your financial foundation first, that gives you leverage, that gives you security that you can lean on when life happens. Because that's the one thing we cannot control. Life is going to happen. So when you're making financial decisions, establish your foundation first, and then slowly and gradually increase your risk. Don't go heads. Like soon as the gate open, you just running, going balls to the wall with risk and over leveraging yourself in debt when you're just getting started and you have no traction. You have no traction. You have nothing to fall on when life happens. That's how a lot of people get caught up, because they went from 0 to 10. I'm going from 0 to 2. I'm going from 0 to 2 because I need a foundation first. And when I start building my house, not the literal house, but building my financial house, I'm building it on solid ground. I'm building it on cement, not sand. When I start building my financial house, I'm stacking on what's below it. I'm stacking on what's below it. And that's how I did it. And then when you stack so much, then you no longer need money You can use the value of your assets to buy the next asset, but you have to slowly stack over time and you have to be patient. It's not going to happen overnight, but like I said, the time is going to pass anyway. Let's say you have a goal and you have a plan that's going to take you 10 years and you're like, oh my God, I'm not doing that. It's going to take 10 years. And let's say you're 50 now and you live to 60. The time still passed. And if you gave up on your goal, now you're 60 with nothing because you gave up on your goal 8 years ago because you thought it was going to take too long. The time still is going to pass. So if you quit, it's not going to happen. But if you keep going and it takes 10 years or 12 years, so what? If you're blessed to keep living, the time is going to pass anyway. Stay in the game. Stay in the game. Now, when life happens, you may slow down your pace in the game. You may fall off a little bit, but you get back up, right? You may slow down a little bit, but then you pick up pace when things are good again, right? So just stay in the game. It doesn't matter how long it takes. When I'm setting goals, it does not matter to me how long it's going to take. As long as I keep living, I'm going to get there. And who cares how long it took me? I'm there now. One of my goals is to help 100 Black women become millionaires. I don't care how long it takes me. There are lots of financial coaches out here running in circles and jumping over hoops and doing all the things and working in their business 40, 50, 60 hours a week. And they're popular, they're influencers, and they're doing the thing. I'm not willing to put that much effort into my business to make it happen as quickly. And I don't need the fame and the influence, but it's a goal, a personal goal that I have, and it's going to come to pass. How long it's going to take, I don't know. And I'm okay with however long it takes. In my lifetime, I will help 100 Black women become millionaires. It's something I'm determined I'm going to do no matter how long it takes. The time is going to pass anyway. That's kind of how I see my goals. But all right, let me get back to your comments. We've been on almost 2 hours, y'all. We've been on almost 2 hours. This is so good. This is so good. As a quick reminder, join the Road to 100K Investing Challenge. We start on June 10th. I would love to see you there. 6 seats left. Well, as of what I know, I haven't checked my email since I've been on, but 6 seats left. Congratulations, Angie. Yay. I look forward to seeing you in the challenge. Yes. So I guess we got 5 seats left. Dominique said it's amazing. Oh, you're welcome. Yes, lady, you signed up for the challenge too. Yay. Congratulations. Well, I guess we got 4 seats left. Because I haven't seen your name before, lady. I've seen Angie's name before. I think I do remember seeing her. Are you in the group, Angie, the private group yet? Lady, what's your name that you go by? You don't have to use your government name if you don't want to, but give me a hint so I can see if I've seen your email before. But if you're new, welcome. Hey, child free with Mimi. Hey, girl, hey. Jacqueline, totally amazing. Yes, Venus, you're welcome. Oh, Maya, your apartment building caught on fire 15 years ago. Oh, so glad I had and still have renter's insurance. Yes, girl, yes. I had a situation, my apartment building, it didn't catch on fire, but my neighbor above me, girl, he was frying chicken at like 2:00 in the morning, drunk. And the smoke in his house made all the sprinklers go off. Girl, the sprinklers went off everywhere. Caused all kinds of water damage. I was grateful for that renter's insurance. Yes, ma'am. $125, $150 a year max. If y'all don't have renter's insurance and you're a renter, please get it. Please get it. Need to get on your calendar so you can read my book. Okay, Al. Okay, I got you, sis. I got you. Just keep in mind, I'm not a financial advisor, So I cannot advise you on what to invest in. But what I will do is I will review your portfolio and we will talk about your goals. And if there's anything that I see that's in your portfolio that you tell me that is not aligned, then we can unpack that, right? I can give you some things to consider. I could probably teach you some things if there are things you don't know, based on questions that I ask you. And I can empower you with enough information to reevaluate your own portfolio to make decisions for yourself. But I cannot advise you. So I always want to say that just to keep myself aligned with any legal issues, my channel public. I don't want to get in no trouble. But yes, Miss L, I will be happy to review your retirement plan, your portfolio, whatever it is that you need me to review. And we can most certainly have a chat about that and strategize. And you were OG bestie too. You were OG bestie way back from my blogging days. So I got you, sis. Absolutely. Absolutely. I got you. One of my high school mates started a daycare business when she started having kids. Okay, that was smart. Hey, that's like house hacking, right? She baby hacked. All right, let me get out of here. I'm gonna scroll real quick now, see if my channel members got anything to say, and see if I can find a cue. All right, then I'm gonna get on out of here. Let's see, Eileen. I definitely learned a lot and will tweak what I'm currently doing. Okay, I am so glad this was helpful. So glad this was helpful. And Miss Greta, learning a lot. Awesome. When investing in individual stocks, do you pay the full asking price up front? Absolutely not. Or do you dollar cost average buying per month? No. So in my step 7, when I say I would be actively investing, everything would be active. I wouldn't do anything in a passive way. So dollar cost averaging, that's a passive way of investing. When I'm actively investing, I will analyze the price of the stock. I will look at my chart based on fundamental analysis. I will do the calculations to determine how much I think the stock is worth and what I'm willing to pay for it. I will review my charts and do technical analysis to validate my findings from my technical analysis, to look at the price levels to determine where I want to buy. And I set my order called a limit order. I'm telling my broker, I want this many shares and this is how much I'm willing to pay for it. And then I just wait and let the price come to me. So that requires some analysis to make those types of informed decisions. But I do not, when I'm actively investing, I do not pay the full asking price up front, because if a stock is at its all-time high, like, for example, right now, Microsoft been moving and shaking. I've been getting alerts because Microsoft is in my portfolio. So I have alerts when all of my stocks reach all-time highs. I've been getting alert from Microsoft like every other day. I'm like, daggone. Like NVIDIA. NVIDIA is now at an all-time high. It's on a crazy, ridiculous run. I have shares of NVIDIA in my portfolio. Would I buy more right now when it's at its all-time high? Absolutely not. So no, I have to do my analysis first to determine what it's worth and also to determine how much I'm willing to pay. I place my limit order and then I wait for it to come to me. I do teach my clients how to do fundamental and technical analysis. So when you're ready to get to work, let's do it. Now, that's not part of the investing challenge, but I can teach you that in the one-on-one. Let's see. Last comment, and then we can get out of here. Tanya Brooks, one of my takeaways is buying a good used car instead of a new one. Yes, because you don't want to pay the depreciation that's going to happen as soon as you drive off the lot, right? Instead of a new one, and how to sacrifice now to get the results you want. Yes, yes, yes. I also did a recent video on financial sacrifices and the financial sacrifices I made in order to reach my FIRE number faster and to retire early in my 40s. A lot of people think, oh, well, you had a 6-figure salary, so it was easy for you. You was able to do it. And it's like people tend to dismiss a person when they've accomplished a goal if they also had what's considered a higher than average salary. But what I think a lot of people fail to understand is there are doctors that are broke. There are celebrities that file bankruptcy. So, how much you make does not determine your wealth. How much you make is just your salary. There are a lot of decisions that you have to make in order to build wealth that has nothing to do with your salary. Now, having money to build wealth, that helps, but having money does not equate to wealth. I could make six figures and spend more than six figures and be sitting on six figures of debt. That's the average American. So, all of those steps that I outlined, especially step 4 about the housing and the transportation, those are pivotal. And I'm so glad that's your takeaway because your housing and your transportation are the biggest expenses that most Americans have. And those two expenses, that's what keep most people tethered to their jobs. And when you're in a toxic working environment and you're in a job that you hate, that house and that car that made you miserable. It wasn't even worth it. So, yes, I'm glad that was your takeaway. So, thank you so much for sharing that. But, y'all, if you enjoyed this video, thank you so much for your feedback. But also share your feedback by smashing that like button. Share your feedback by smashing that like button. And please share the video with other women you know who either are starting over because they're recently divorced, they have experienced a layoff, or they are empty nesters, or whatever has happened in their lives that has caused them to have to start over. Share the video with them. Even if you are beyond 100K, I know the thumbnail says 0 to 100K. Even if you are beyond that, I think those steps can still help you. Like I said, just add another 0 to the 100K and focus on the next milestone. The steps still apply. So, with that said, I am going to tell my financial besties thank you and have a wonderful night. And until next time, bye for now.